Hello everyone, welcome back. So let's take a look at the lamp setup, and this is the geometry I'm going to use, and it's pointing upwards, so I inverted it this way so it looks like it's hanging from the wall. And the idea is I want to attach this part to the main wall and then have build a connection between this entire block and this bit where it could swing. So this is the anchor point, and the idea for this is to basically transfer the wall animation or the RBD animation. This is the point cache. So I want to transfer the wall animation onto these static objects, the support section, and then have this part be active and build a pin constraint to link both of them. Not gonna do any separation for now. I mean we could. It's not hard at all. You just have to implement that. But this is the idea. We want to pin this to the wall and then link this part, set it active, and create a pin constraint. So here I'm simply selecting the geometry and moving it a bit so it makes more sense for it to connect, and then separating this part. Yeah, I just removed the any intersection, and because I have one lamp, so I'm going to copy them 4 times so that they are placed on top of the pillars like we saw. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I want to place them there, and this is for that. And then I have by default they don't have a name attribute, so we could use an assemble node. But if this geometry has multiple pieces, then it's going to be naming each one of them differently, and I don't want that. I want to name this part lamp 1, lamp 2, lamp 3, and so on and so forth. I don't want the assemble node to give me different names. So when I did the copy, I turned on the copy num attribute, and this is going to give me an integer with the attribute number. So this is copy number 0, number 1, and all these pieces, if this geometry had 1,000 pieces, they will all get a single integer. So from there I'm building the name attribute by concatenating the current name, which is this one, lamp underscore base, that we defined here. So this creates a name attribute, and then I'm concatenating the copy num, that attribute, and I use the I2A to convert a number into a string. So that should give me the name I'm looking for. So if we go here, you can see we have lamp base 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's for each one of them. Then I'm assembling this one, and I'm not generating any name attribute. Actually, this one I can change to anything. It doesn't matter, it's not used. And I'm using the original points from the main sim and shifting it to the first frame, and then doing an attribute transfer. So here I'm transferring then the name attribute, and in this case the main name, not the uprise, because this geometry, I believe, yeah, the main name, that's the one I need. And then I'm using the transform geometry, transform pieces to transform these objects, and that's how we get our static geometry. And then I wrote it out to disk so it's faster to work with. And last but not least, I want to make sure that these are inactive, so I'm setting an attribute here, active attribute to be 0, and then in DOPS we're going to set them to be static but animated. Okay, so that's the first part, and then the second part is the thing that's going to move. So I'm moving it as well, so that when I do the copy I get the same setup here. Okay, and then the same thing, we do the naming thing, and this is the lamp anim section, and so the name attribute is set up correctly. And then I use a connect adjacent piece. I don't think I'm using, yeah, I'm not using this one, sorry. I'm gonna delete that. So and then I want to build the connection between each of these pieces, and then this part. So this the lamp and the base, and I'm merging both of them and then creating a connect adjacent pieces. And using a very small radius, I can increase this to 1. You can see it's building more connections, but I'm gonna set it to very low so I just get some connections. It doesn't have to be a single point. And then I'm unifying those, scaling the primitives, and then setting the pin constraint. I don't have to do the attribute actually. This was for something else, but we don't have to do the attribute. And that's pretty much it. In terms of DOP setup, it's even simpler. So let me pause and I'll reopen the scene. So let's take a look at the DOP setup, and as I said, it's simpler than other setups. I have the lamp animation, it's set to active, and I have the lamp base, it's set to animated static, and this is the base. If we hit play, we should see it moving. You can see that this part is moving, but we don't the animated geometry is not falling or anything because we don't have gravity, but the static part is moving as expected. Now if you guys look here, I mean, it's not very obvious, but before any of this happens, the lamps start jittering, they start to swing, and then they swing more and more, and once the impact happens, then I turn off the extra movement. But we can make them get turbulent before, to show that the wall is shaking or something like that. And I'm doing that using a turbulence, so pop force. And let me disable this. So if I play through, you see it goes to 6, goes to 40, and then it goes back to 0. So during those frames, I just add a lot of movements to the lamps and then turn it off. And this speed limit is just to make sure that no lamps exceeds this speed, but it's not needed. Okay, so that's for the main part, and then I have a pin constraint, and this is loading the constraint network. And that's our connection. You can see the point there. Well, there are multiple ones, but it's fine. And then a gravity node. Now I don't have any other pieces. We could add the wall here. We could add the actual wall for the collision and stuff, but we don't have to. It's not gonna make a huge difference, especially that even for the close-up ones. Where is it? Yeah, we don't see it. Yeah, for this shot, for example, you can see even for this, you will see the lamps are swinging. And we don't need collision. I mean, we could add it, but it's not going to make a huge difference. Once the wall falls down, we don't see anything underneath. So whether we make it dynamic or not, it's not going to matter that much. And that's pretty much it. Let's hit play. And this is playing live now. And why is it not attached? Let's try all. Yeah, I'm not so sure why. Okay, let's go up. I'm gonna turn on cache sim. And let's clear this up. I mean, I have the cache. I wrote this. Maybe it's because a different Houdini version. Yeah, I'm not so sure why this is happening, but this is the original setup that I'm showing now. And I cached it. I imported the lamp anim. That's what I need, and I cached it. This is the cache for the points. You can see they're swinging, and then I'm using a transform pieces, and it's working pretty well. So I don't know, it could be a Houdini version that I'm using that is not the same as before, caused this issue, but this should work 100%. Let's try that to 0. And let me disable this as well. And I'm going to turn off the ground. Could be, let me check. Okay, so this, for some reason, oh, it's not loading the pack geometry, that's why. Okay, so let's do this. And let me turn this on. And I'm gonna I had this set to 1 just to make it smoother. Probably a value of 0 is better, and now it should work for sure. Yep. So that's how you would approach attaching any geometry that needs to swing. So if you have cables, if you have, I don't know, some piece of metal sticking out of a big block of concrete that you wanted to make dynamic, you can pin the base part. You can fracture it, pin the base part, and then have everything else attached using pin constraint. So that's how we do the lamp. And the last but not least, I have for the render later, I'm gonna attach lights here. So that's, I believe that's the point for the light center. Let me, and what I did is I looked through all of them and I deleted everything except that point. Yeah, I'm isolating that point. And so from the lamp, I'm not going to use the top point because that doesn't swing much. I'm going to use the bottom one, and then looping over all of them, I deleted 1 point. And I'm grouping point 0, point 1. Each point I'm grouping into I'm putting into group A, B, C, D, and then later we can use this to parent lights to. So we'll talk about this in week 9. And that's pretty much it for the lamp setup. Thank you guys for watching.